Zimbabwe. The Chinese were mining lithium illegally. That country said, sorry, exportation of lithium is illegal. Now, the Chinese are building a factory in Zimbabwe, a $300 million factory. Now, we have lithium in abundance here. And it's been taken away. I mean, just yesterday, a friend was asking me, how can this government appoint Dele Alaki as Minister of Petroleum? I mean, solid mineral. It should be information. I said, do you know the implication? That annually, $9 billion worth of gold is illegally taken out of Nigeria. With according to a former minister, Dr. Oga, through private jets. Private jet. Oh, yes.
$9 billion.
Yes, $9 billion. Gold alone.
They've been able to put a value to it?
Oh, yes. You can Google. I'm not talking of lithium. I'm not talking of other resources. I just handle a case in Osun State. You know, under our Minerals Act, if you are mining gold or any mineral, solid mineral, in my farm, I mean in my land, what does the law provide? 100 naira per acre. I know the law. So you are moving me out of my land. I'm a farmer. This is where I farm. But you said, no, get out of the place. The government has taken over on your land. We'll pay you 100 naira. So they were going to give our client 150,000 naira. And they came to us, what are we going to do with this? I said, don't worry, we'll go to court. So we went to court in Federal High Court Osogbo. Oh, the other lawyer said, no, this is what the law provides. I said, no. Section 44(1) of the Constitution says, if you take over my land for public purpose, I will prepare a fair and just compensation. The law, the judge, this man, awarded 250 million naira to our client. Well, you know what I discovered? Unfortunately, after the case, unfortunately for the company, we discovered that in 5 years, that company will make a profit of $500 million. No tax. Do you run a country that way? And you are asking the poor, tighten your belt. Do you run a country that way? That one company will make $500 million in our country.
Why would there be no tax on it?
No, the government wants to encourage, people to invest in that area. The company will invest only $245 million. And a foreign company, a Canadian company, through a Nigerian, it's a $1 or whatever they call themselves. And that's all. Meanwhile, the state government, the Osun state government, is entitled to 13%
derivation.
So this is the problem.
All right, let's bring in our colleagues from Lagos.
Thank you, Chamberlain. Well, Mr. Falana, one of the first questions that naturally comes to mind, when you speak about dollarization, and you talked about the fact that people generally seem to prefer imported things. It's not something that is new. I remember reading an article or a comment by Chief Femi which he delivered, a lecture he delivered in London, I think, before the independence, saying that politicians of his day preferred imported stuff to locally made ones. Now, we are still talking about the same thing now, more than 60 years after independence of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So I'm wondering, is there a way that you think we can navigate that situation so that we don't have that same situation on our hands in another 10 years from now? A situation where we tend to prefer imported stuff to locally made ones. There are those who also say, unless we produce at home and export, the Naira couldn't get any stronger. So how do you think we can do that?
Oh, you see, I've just referred to the relevant provisions of the Central Bank Act and also the Constitution, Section 16, has imposed a duty on the government to run the economy in the interest of Nigeria, not in the interest of IMF and World Bank. So if you destroy your currency,
No, Mr. Falana,
changing money to dollar.
why are we not seeing several suits against those institutions, if that's the case then?
No, we're in court.
All over the
world. We're in court. The central bank has no answer. We're in court.
What about, I mean, and some people will say, you know, while this will be laudable, a lot of people will say, but it doesn't have to start from government. Because I know that even when you say, oh, government, why are people not buying locally produced cars or locally assembled cars? And the question will the companies that are here, the few companies that are assembling the vehicle, would they be able to meet the demand?
No, that's a different matter. We can then create exceptions until we're able to meet the demand. For instance, the Buhari regime in 2020 announced that because of the exchange problem, we can no longer continue to subsidize fuel importation. So what we are going to do is to encourage vehicles to be converted from PMS-run vehicles to CNG. And 250 billion naira was earmarked by the central bank for that. Not a kobo was released for that purpose. So I wrote to the central bank recently, under the Freedom of Information Act, what has happened to the 250 billion naira?
What did you find out?
No, they say, we are looking at our records. Of course, no answer.
Till date?
So we're in court. Oh. So these are the issues the government will have to address. Around Benin Delta, around Edo Delta area, not less than 10,000 vehicles are run on CNG. Because it's eco-friendly, it's cheaper. So why is the government not